May 29th, 1453. At dawn, a 21-year-old sultan stands before the last walls of Rome with 80,000 men and the world's most terrifying cannon. Inside, just 7,000 defenders prepare for the city's final sunrise, knowing 1,000 years of empire may end within hours. By nightfall, Constantinople will fall, the last Roman emperor will vanish, and the world will change forever. The Renaissance will ignite. The age of exploration will begin. This is the day when two worlds collided, and Istanbul was born. Today, tourists stroll past the crumbling Theodosian walls, unaware that beneath their feet, one battle decided the fate of civilization. By the 15th century, Constantinople was less a capital and more a mausoleum. Once a metropolis of 1 million, it had shrunk to a ghost town, its palaces crumbling, its treasury barren, its churches half empty. Yet its spirit remained. The triple-layered Theodosian walls had stood for a millennium. 20 sieges had failed. For Orthodox Christians, this was holy ground. For the Ottomans, it was unfinished business. For the world, it was the last outpost of Rome. Constantine XI, Palaiologos, wasn't born to preside over an empire. He was born to bury it. Yet he didn't run. A seasoned general with little hope and less gold, he commanded just 7,000 men to defend a city of ghosts. Desperate, he tried to mend the Great Schism of 1054, offering reunion with the Roman Catholic Church. The move divided his people, but Constantine bet everything on Western aid. Few came. His final gamble? Fight to the last. Across the strait, a different man was rising. Mehmed II, son of Murad, had become Sultan at just 19. By 21, he was fluent in Greek, Latin, Persian, Arabic, and strategy. Constantinople wasn't just a military target, it was his destiny. In Islamic prophecy, a hadith declared, "Surely Constantinople shall be conquered. What a wonderful leader will her conqueror be!" Mehmed would make himself that leader by force, brilliance, and fire. In 1452, Mehmed began construction on Rumeli Hisari, a fortress that stared straight into Constantinople's soul. Built in 4 months, it controlled the Bosphorus and strangled the city's supply lines. The Byzantines protested. Mehmed laughed. He renamed the fortress Bogaz-Kesin, the throat cutter. It wasn't just a structure, it was a declaration: war is coming. The weapon that would change warfare forever was born not in Istanbul, but in Hungary. Orban, a Christian engineer, approached Constantine first with his plans for a supercannon. The emperor couldn't pay. Mehmed could. Orban forged a 27-foot cannon that fired 1 200-pound stones over a mile. It took 60 oxen to move. Mehmed's message was clear: your walls are obsolete. Your past is ending. Spring came like a drum roll. On April 6th, the Ottoman army arrived, a force of 60,000, 80,000, including the feared Janissaries, Christian-born soldiers turned elite Islamic warriors. Inside the city, 7,000 defenders. Among them, Giovanni Giustiniani, a Genoese commander with 700 men, took charge of the land walls. And then the bombardment began. Day after day, walls shook. Dust filled the sky. Still, every night, the Byzantines rebuilt. a city clinging to hope, brick by brick. The Theodosian walls, stone, brick, and ancient engineering absorbed the cannon fire like mountains. Each breach was patched with rubble, barrels of earth, even mattresses. Giustiniani was everywhere, rallying troops, reinforcing gates, restoring morale. Even Mehmed, for all his firepower, couldn't break through, yet he was only warming up. To the north lay Constantinople's lifeline, the Golden Horn, and at its mouth, an ancient iron chain stretching across the water, sealing the harbor. Ottoman ships couldn't get in. The Byzantine navy, though small, held the Horn. On April 20th, 5 Christian supply ships ran the blockade, fighting past Mehmed's navy in a legendary clash. The defenders erupted in joy. Mehmed, humiliated, nearly rode his horse into the sea in rage. And then came madness. On April 22nd, Mehmed launched one of the most audacious maneuvers in siege history. He built a road of greased logs over the hills of Galata and dragged dozens of ships over land and down into the Golden Horn. The next morning, the Byzantines awoke to horror. Ottoman ships now floated inside the harbor, their one great advantage gone overnight. The Byzantines tried a desperate counterattack, launching fire ships at the Ottoman fleet. But betrayal turned the tide. The attempt failed. The harbor was lost. Morale collapsed. Constantine's men now had to stretch thinly across both land and sea walls. The walls were cracking, and so were the people. Mehmed dug deep, literally. His Serbian miners began tunneling under the walls. But the Byzantines had a secret weapon. John Grant, a Scottish engineer and mining expert. He organized countermines, listening for Ottoman pickaxes in the dark. When they found tunnels, they collapsed them or fought in brutal, choking hand-to-hand combat below ground. The Ottomans never breached from below, but the walls above were groaning. As the city withered, Mehmed sent an offer: surrender, and the citizens could live. Constantine refused. "We have all resolved to die," he said. "We will not consider our lives." It wasn't just defiance. It was sacrifice. The emperor knew there would be no escape. He would die where Constantine the Great had once ruled. The name would fall with the man. On the night of May 28th, Constantine led a final procession. In the Hagia Sophia, Greek and Latin priests prayed side by side. Cardinals, sailors, soldiers, monks, they knelt as one. Centuries of schism dissolved under candlelight. It was the last mass of the Eastern Roman Empire. Outside, torches lit the camps of Mehmed's final assault. Just after midnight on May 29th, the Ottoman attack began. Drums, horns, chants, then the first wave hit. Irregulars meant to die. Then came the Anatolian troops, disciplined, relentless. They breached briefly, only to be thrown back by Constantine himself. He fought in the dirt like a soldier, blade in hand. As dawn broke, Mehmed sent in the elite. 3,000 Janissaries, fresh, silent, deadly. At the same moment, disaster struck. Giustiniani was wounded, perhaps in the chest or leg. Carried from the field, his men panicked. The Genoese retreated. A gate was left open, the Kirka Porta. The Ottomans surged in. Flags were raised. Chaos erupted. Constantine removed his purple robes. "The city is fallen, and I am still alive," he said. Then he vanished into the melee, sword drawn. The emperor died fighting, not in a palace, but in the dust among his people. His body was never found. His empire died with him. By midday, the city was Ottoman. Looting began. Churches were ransacked, civilians enslaved. But then Mehmed rode in. At Hagia Sophia, he dismounted, walked inside, and ordered it to be converted into a mosque. And then, for the first time in 1,000 years, the Adhan echoed through its dome. Rome had fallen. Istanbul had risen. Europe trembled. The final Roman emperor was gone. The old Silk Roads fell to Ottoman control. Greek scholars fled to Italy, carrying ancient texts, sparking the Renaissance, and in search of new trade routes, Europeans turned west, launching the age of exploration. One city's fall changed the world. Today, Istanbul is a bridge between continents, east and west, mosque and church, memory and future. But in 1453, it was the end of a world. The fall of Constantinople is not just a historical footnote, it's the turning of a page in human civilization. If you felt the weight of this story, subscribe for more tales that shaped the world. Leave a comment. What forgotten moment in history should we uncover next?